stream segment of Mika Says Ukasa. And of course, as always, I am your humble host, Niko House. I am here breaking another news update on the Iowa fuckery. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm a little tired. I'm a little exhausted. All right, you see my eyes getting low, they're getting glossy. And you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of the bullshit coming from the Iowa Democratic Party. Tired of it. Can't deal with it no more. I can't. And these people out here who are like, well, maybe it was incompetence. We don't want to jump to conclusions. We don't want to jump to conclusions. Really, bro? Let me be clear about something. The burden of proof, and I mean this as a person who started as a co-founder of the DNC fraud lawsuit that is currently in the Supreme Court waiting to be heard right now, as a person who co-founded the lawsuit against the Democratic Party that is worth $900 million if we win, to give back to the people. In that court hearing where I heard them say in front of me, they can literally give the nomination to who the hell they want to and we can't do anything about it. I don't want to hear anybody tell me that, oh, maybe it's just incompetence. Maybe we should just give them the benefit of the doubt. Boy, hold up. What? No. The burden of proof is now on the Democrats to be as transparent as humanly possible to prove they're not rigging. They have the responsibility every single step of the way from here on out to prove that they are not the ones doing the rigging. Which means if there is incompetence, you need to be not incompetent as humanly possible. You need to stop fucking up. If that's what that means, what it means. Because incompetence, we're not. Guess what? Everything rigging. Incompetence, rigging. App don't work, rigging. Your voter ID laws out of nowhere, rigging. My tire flat on the way to the poll. Oh, the DNC slashed my tires. That's a fact. I catch the flu on the way to the polls. Can't go to the poll now. Rigged. Coronavirus in here. Oh, that must mean it got rigged up in here. Every single thing that happens from here until 2020 is rigging until proven otherwise. Because that is the burden that the DNC has put on itself. I mean, I'm not even going to go through the host of videos that I've already covered where they clearly don't give a shit if we even know. They don't even care if we know they're rigging. I mean, bro, they took $300,000 from Mike Bloomberg a month before he enters the race. He then enters the race. They then change the fucking rules to make the debate stage for Mike Bloomberg. Rigging. So there ain't the burden of proof is not on us. And what we're seeing right now is another example of why the burden of proof is not on us. Because for some reason, us on this side, we can be as transparent as humanly possible. We stay with the Windex. You can see right through our window. We're always transparent if we can be transparent. And yet, the DNC cannot do that. But it's okay because you got to give a huge shout out to Bernie Sanders' campaign because they've been trying to be as transparent as humanly possible. And Bernie's Iowa State co-chair gave us a little glimpse into something that the Iowa Democratic Party was probably hoping would stay under wraps at this point. So let's look at this. So this is from, what's his name? Swartz. He's a supervisor, but he's a supervisor in Iowa County. But he is also the state co-chair of Bernie Sanders' campaign. So the information I'm reporting to you right now is not only from the campaign co-chair of Bernie Sanders, or state campaign co-chair of Bernie Sanders, but this is an elected official. An elected official, ladies and gentlemen. This is what he had to say. Black Hawk County results. Folks, I don't know what's going on with the Iowa Democratic Party and the slow trickle of results. I know for a fact that they have had the count from Black Hawk County for over 24 hours and will not clearly explain to anyone, not even me as an elected official, what the process is for releasing our results. Rigged. I don't understand why these complete results were not released yesterday, and the leadership of Iowa's Democratic Party will not tell me. Rigged. This is not a reflection on our hard-working party leaders like Vicky Brown, who are being left out in the cold just as much as you and me, and those who worked very hard this whole caucus season. So all those other, delegates, whatever, we're just going to focus on Bernie and Buttigieg. 2,149 votes. 155 county delegates for Bernie Sanders, 1,578 votes, 111 county delegates for Pete Buttigieg. Wow. If this would be true, this would put Bernie not a little ahead of Buttigieg, but way ahead of Buttigieg in that popular vote at the bare minimum. Wouldn't you agree? So, interestingly enough, the Iowa Democratic Party, as usual, well, they have some different numbers. They got some different numbers. Because according to this, Bernie only got 1,638, and Buttigieg got 1,588. So still teetering in around the same mark. But question, real quick. Hold up. Boy, is that Deval Patrick with 494 votes? Bro, what? You trying to tell me Deval Patrick, out of thin air, who couldn't get a single vote in almost any part of the state, the Iowa Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen, is trying to claim that Deval Patrick all of a sudden got enough to get a delegate? Because that's what that means, right? That's what that means. See, that's 7.3%. Got 11% for Klobuchar, 12.9% from Warren, so on and so forth. But that number looks really familiar. 494. Hold on, can we do some math real quick? Let's do some math real quick. I'm not a mathematician. We don't talk about this, so don't get mad at me. But that 494, because it says here that Bernie got 1,638 and Deval Patrick got 494. Let's do some math real quick. That little 1,000, that little 494, if you add that to the 1,568 or whatever the hell that was, doesn't that add up? That looks like the exact amount of delegates taken from Bernie Sanders. The exact amount. Oh my God. They're not even trying. And what's worse, people, is that it looked like what they tried to do was make it so that not Pete Buttigieg. They made it so that obviously Pete Buttigieg was more competitive in the county that Bernie Sanders was dominating in, clearly. But then they tried to give those votes and those delegates, the county delegates, to Deval so that he can end up on the debate stage. That's what it looks like to me. Because right now, he is not even close to a problem in New Hampshire. He ain't nobody worried about Deval Patrick in New Hampshire right now. But maybe if he makes the debate stage, he could be a little bit more problematic, huh? Because as of right now, he's not getting on the debate stage. So we just saw once again, this is an elected official in Iowa, supervisor of Black Hawk County, and the campaign co-chair of the Bernie Sanders campaign, who clearly got authorization before he did this. Don't you think? I mean, that's what I would assume. People in Bernie's campaign don't really make moves like this without going through the top first. Why is it that there was a mistake so egregious that before it was double checked and triple checked? Because understand something, it isn't just like Deval Patrick got votes and he had been doing well in other counties. A man who literally had zero votes, you didn't think to triple check when he got 400 votes out of nowhere? Lumina, thank you very much for the super chat. And you are very, very welcome. You are very, very welcome. I saw another one too. I feel like I missed something. Oh, have I talked to Dor about moving to ROKFIN? Yeah, he's considering it. He's considering. I think that so I talked to the CEO and he talks to Dor pretty frequently, and so it's in the works. So Bernie's own team just caught them stealing votes, bro. Caught them. And you gotta wonder. If this happened here, how many other places has this happened? I'm just curious. How many other places has this happened? Y'all excuse me while I send my fiance some money. But I'm confused because we're told that this is merely incompetence. That's what we're told. We're told that this isn't all that important. And I see somebody mention Tulsi. That's funny because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, hold up. I mean, I know Tulsi she didn't spend a lot of money in the state. And in the last 2 to 3 months, she concentrated completely and solely on New Hampshire and South Carolina. So like, I get it. She wasn't supposed to do 25% of the state. But I wanted my one delegate. How the hell do we know that they're not rigging the election against candidates that otherwise would have gotten a delegate? How do we know that? Because unfortunately, Tulsi and Yang don't have the infrastructure that Bernie has in Iowa, so we would never know, would we? Interesting. And mind you, so you have obviously several people, but you have a member of the Iowa Democratic Party and an elected official in their party who is also Bernie's state co-chair. And then on the other side of that establishment fence, you actually have Joe Biden threatening a lawsuit because even his lawyers believe that the results are incredibly inaccurate. So you got progressives and the establishment. The only one who's walking around with a big ass smile on their face claiming victory is Buttigieg. Interesting, huh? Bro, it's not a coincidence. It's not a rig. What I tell you, the burden of proof is not on us anymore. We've done our part. We expose every single type of rigging from voter registration drops to fake polling. Clearly, Biden goes from 1 to 4. Come on, bro. We've exposed that. We've exposed media bias, media silence. There's a plethora of ways we've exposed the Hillary Clinton Victory Fund. So we've exposed money laundering, buying off companies, buying off the DNC. Bro, how many more times do we have to prove rigging before until otherwise, until further notice, it is rigged. You are rigging. I don't want to hear, well, we should just wait until, nope, it's rigged. It's rigged. I have no do you have a reason to believe otherwise? Let's be honest. Do you have a reason to believe otherwise? Don't worry, people. We're not in court. The DNC is not, they are not entitled to due process. We are in reality, and reality comes attached to circumstance. And the circumstances have shown, the DNC told us during the lawsuit that I started that they can literally steal the nomination from us. So why would I not, when we're thinking about everything else, why would I not just assume that that's exactly what they're trying to do? They said that we can steal it, and they actually were very clear that the judge cannot properly adjudicate what the meaning of objectivity is. That's what the lawyer said. Bruce Spiva is his name. Out of curiosity. I don't know how many times, bro. I don't know how many times we're going to have to go through this. And you know what? Let me give a shout out to Sagar and Crystal Ball, because they're on the mainstream media. Obviously, you know, Crystal considers herself a progressive. Sagar considers himself conservative, but they both consider themselves populist. You know, with that check mark and that mainstream platform, there's a lot of pressure. There really is. And Sagar talked a lot about it during our interview at Politicon. And Bob New Show, will the DNC off those rigged votes for Patrick? I'm going to talk about that in a second. But now, when you have Crystal Ball, blue check, progressive on mainstream, and then you have Sagar, who is also a blue check conservative populist on the mainstream, who have massive platforms, just released a book, once again, on the Hill. I was told that Sagar was just on Tucker Carlson the other day. Crystal Ball was on CNN today, I believe, or yesterday. And they're literally, they had the title of their video, though, they're like, hey, Iowa was rigged against Bernie Sanders, and this is how we know. You got to show love for that. We have to reward that, and we have to applaud that. By the way, go pre-order their book if you have not yet, or it might be released. It might be released. I don't know yet. I have to get a copy. But we have to reward that, and we have to applaud that, because even though we may not always agree with them on everything, like I don't agree with Crystal on Syria. I don't think she's educated enough on Syria. That's fine. I'll do my best to try and educate her when the time comes, and then I'll move on about my life, because we agree on 95% of other issues. Sagar has this weird thing against marijuana and porn. I mean, I don't really watch porn because I don't need it, but I smoke a lot, and I don't care if that's his personal preference. I do not care, because we agree on probably 90% of everything else from all the conversations we've had. So that's something that we have to reward. I was joking today on Twitter. I was like, it's funny looking at Crystal realize in real time. If you're following her Twitter, you can see her in real time realizing, oh my God, this is so much worse than I originally thought. This is so much worse. She's like, and it's hilarious because, you know, obviously for a lot of us, we're 2016 veterans. We're from that. We're looking. They think of rigging. They're only thinking about like the Hillary Clinton victory fund. They're thinking about things like CNN rigging or the DNC rigging the debates. You know, that's baby stuff. They're not thinking about the millions of voter registrations in Arizona that were switched, and it exclusively hurt Bernie Sanders. They're not thinking about the cases open in California as we speak. They're not thinking about all the lawsuits that Jill Stein has opened up right now. They're not thinking about what we saw in New York. They're not thinking about the DNC fraud lawsuit. They're not thinking about Tim Canova and 250,000 ballots were destroyed after a court ordered them not to do that. They're not thinking about all that stuff. They're thinking about the casual rigging that they are. They're thinking about media. They're thinking about bias. They're not thinking about rigging. So now that they're seeing this up close and personal, now everybody's kind of paying attention and looking for it. All of a sudden, you're seeing people who were before they were kind of tentative about calling it what it is. Now they're like, oh my God, where these motherfuckers? This shit is. Hey, y'all see this shit? Hey man, come here real quick. That's shit crazy. Right? That's rigging, right? I'm not crazy. This is rigging. When someone takes votes from someone else, give them to someone else, and then pretends like that shit is real, that is rigging, correct? I want to make sure before I go on this mainstream show, and I'm going to say this shit, but I need some confidence. I need you to pat me on the back real quick. Twitter, this is rigging? Okay, cool. So they go on that mainstream show, and they tell the truth. And you are seeing that happening more and more and more and more lately. You have Nina unapologetically going on mainstream and calling Mike Bloomberg a goddamn oligarch just like he is. Unabashed and unashamed. Matter of fact, Chris, I believe it was Chris Matthews, he actually said, it was actually really cute. He said, in my opinion, you're a great surrogate. Actually, you're in my opinion, you're the best there is. You're the best there ever was. You're the best surrogate ever. I was like, this is Chris Matthews. But Chris Matthews likes Tulsi too, so I'm kind of not surprised. But it's just dope when you hear Nina get the credit she deserves, because at this very juncture, oh yeah, it's not even close. Nina's the best surrogate ever. Like, if there was a best surrogate in the history of politics award, you might have to give it to Nina Turner after 2020, and that's not hyperbole. So now, when people have asked what is being done about it, well, there's an answer for that. What is being done about this particular instance of rigging? Because they rig in like 80 different ways. There's an answer for that. Here we are. Chris Swartz, same guy, took to Twitter and said the state party is now being forced to walk back their era of giving Bernie Sanders delegates to Deval Patrick, who received zero, big O, whole goose egg, circle with the hole in it, all right? That's 0 votes in Black Hawk County. Press can DM me. So they took care of it. That's great news. They're not only are they taking care of business, but they're taking care of business out loud and transparent. Once again, why is it so easy for us to be transparent when we weren't the ones who rigged an entire election? That wasn't us. That was them. But we got to be